98.7 FM.
When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's amore. Some may say it's from Mars, some may call it cheese sauce, it's amore. You can put it in a lasagna tin, make it thick or thin, and do it your way. When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's amore.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Good evening, you're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir, and tonight we are bringing you a different kind of show. I'm joined with Mr. Simon Baston of Loftco, property developer and entrepreneur. He studied construction management, giving him the technical foundation to build anything he wants, including Newport Market, Albert Hall, Swansea, Goodsheds, Barry and the Tram Shed, to name a few. Nicely done. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Goodsheds, Barry isn't like a normal market. It's more like a mini village of independent businesses under one roof. The traders are a mix of food, drink and small creative brands, and most of them are local or Welsh based, which is a big part of the appeal. But before we discuss those, let's talk about you. Now, rather than taking a traditional employment route, you chose to start your own business straight away. It was during a recession, I believe. Seeing the downturn as an opportunity to build something that could grow long term, you went on to establish Loftco and associated companies which specialise in regenerating and repurposing historic or existing buildings, turning them into mixed-use spaces with commercial, residential, work and community elements. Over the years, you've been involved in notable regenerational schemes across South Wales. I'm a big fan of the Tram Shed. We've seen our favourite band 4 actor there a few times. How did you first get into property development?
I finished college when I was 24. My father had a construction business before, and it was a recession, it was difficult times, so we thought this is the best time to start your business. If you ever take a look at lots of businesses, they start out of adversity.
Yeah.
Because if you can handle that and you can build off that, then you've got a fair chance. So we started off basic maintenance, general building. I was very fortunate to meet a guy that sort of helped me to leapfrog up the ladder. And they were part shares in Castle Bingo and Leisure.
Oh, wow.
And we started to become their sort of builder for their family and the family group. And then the son, Mark Andrews, he became my partner. And we did a sort of 10 years of developments together. And I was really lucky, because the reality is sometimes it is luck. And I think if you open yourself up and you're quite open and you say to people, I need help, I need a bit of assistance.
Yeah.
I had the drive, I had the technical know-how, I had the team, but I didn't have the capital. And, I grew up I'm from a council estate in St Athan. I didn't have that background.
It's impressive.
Mark had the pedigree and the background, and between the two of us, I'd like to think we were a great team together. And his family were really helpful. Another chap, when I was only 24 years old, in the rugby club. And it's really interesting. I just finished college and he started talking to me, about 10 years older, Dave Hicks, his name was, great guy. And he started saying to me, what were you doing inside? I said, well, I'm trying to start my own construction business. I'd only met him for about 2 minutes. And anyway, never thought anything of it. Next week, I get a phone call off him. He found me 3 jobs. I had 2 factory extensions and a house to build. And to this day, I take him a present every Christmas, and his wife, and he says every Christmas, don't bother, Si. And I say, I don't know. I said, there was no reason for you to help me out.
You wouldn't have been.
You wouldn't have been there. But I always think if you are honest and you not throw yourself at somebody, but you say, basically, I could do with a bit of help here.
Yeah.
Generally, people are going to help you.
A lot of people are too... I mean, it's a very humble thing to say, I need help, though. Not everyone wants to.
No. Oh, no, I think you should do it all the time, and at every stage of your life and every part of your journey. Because life becomes easier when you're open and you're honest with people, and you say, look, can you do me a favour? I'll help you out, but can you, in the same respect, sort of help me?
It's networking, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
Great. It's fantastic. Yeah. What is it about old buildings that excites you more than starting from scratch?
I don't know, really. For our sins, we fell in love with them. My partner and I originally, if there was an iconic building, we'd fall in love with it and then try and work out how we were going to do it afterwards, which is actually not the best business plan, because you really should work your costings before. But some of the buildings that we worked on, which were fantastic, that we did fall in love with them, and they're there now. They're very strong buildings that give a strong message of the heritage of where we worked. And also, I think communities really do look at these buildings, and it strikes a chord with them. It strikes a chord with their past life, present, and future life.
It does.
Whereas, if we just keep on building boxes that are, they have no form, they have no function that anybody resonates with.
Yeah. I completely agree. They have character, history, and potential. They tell a story, and you've kept those stories alive. You can't fake character.
No.
They've, things like exposed brick, big beams, high ceilings, unusual layouts. Those features make spaces feel unique, which is harder to achieve when you have brand new buildings. And reusing them is more sustainable. Rather than demolishing, you restore, adapt, repurpose. It's better for the environment and for local communities. You can revive rundown areas. Many old buildings sit empty and unloved. The Valley's especially a victim to this. I love the idea of turning them into homes, creative spaces, music venues, community hubs. So instead of just making profit, the projects can bring life back to an area that has personality, a connection to local history, like you were saying. They're environmentally smarter to reuse and can be transformed into something useful and exciting.
Well, if you take a look at any building, if you can reuse the inherent energy it took for that building to be here for 100 years and use it for another 100 years, there is no more sustainable building that you can ever give. All the brownfield areas, and we're sitting in one now in Cardiff here, we could build in these brownfield areas here. There's lots of old derelict buildings here we can still use. Look at the city centres. Everybody, when you're walking through any city centre, you're fairly looking at the floor or looking forward. But take a look upstairs.
Yes.
And have a look at these magnificent Victorian buildings we've got.
I know.
Newport, for example, is the most important Victorian centre for buildings outside of London. Normally people would know that, because in its heyday it was a very wealthy city.
Okay.
Some of the great landlords and some of the great builders in Britain were there. But how do we get them back into life? Well, we've got to encourage builders, developers, to rebuild these buildings, or repurpose them, I've put a white paper to the Welsh Government for all these upper parts, and I said to them, just give them planning permission to carry on building them straight away. They don't need to wait 2 years for it. Let them put 8 or 10 flats inside there, because these apartments they're going to put in these buildings are inherently going to be for younger people. They're going to be affordable because you don't need a car. It's sustainable in the city centre.
Yes.
So, and then if you've got to, for example, get 10 rates on these apartments, let the builder have it for 10 years, the money for that, because that might subsidise him and encourage him to complete it, or her to complete the building.
Brilliant idea.
Then the local authorities have a huge income stream in 10 years' time. But in the meantime, all the shops down below are up and running, they're vibrant because it's a vibrant city centre.
Yes.
Less crime, and everything else, everyone gains. So I think we've got to look at the built environment and the brownfield sites and how we live completely different. We can't all have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, lovely place out in the country.
That's true.
We all evolve. We lived in caves one day, then we lived, and then we lived in mud huts.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to have to live in something different. And if that means the future apartments and the future homes are going to have to be in a city centre for families, then so be it. That's what we need to do. So we need to create great city centre environments, or great brownfield environments. We don't need to build on grass. We literally do not need to build on grass. Any city, you can take your own Cardiff today and show you 200 acres we could build on here in brownfield areas.
Yeah.
It's all well and good saying that, there's too many technical issues, but they built runways and airports in the sea in Hong Kong. All of this can be achieved quite easily.
Well, yes, and of course you would know that. So, well, yeah, I'm just so impressed with you.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Welcome back to the show. We are very lucky to have Mr. Simon Baston, property developer, in the house. You've won lots of awards. Which project are you most proud of, and why?
Yeah, we without standing on ceremony, we do want, when we get going, to think we're going to win national awards, because we have to set the standard. And our buildings, we're disappointed if we don't get there, because these are magnificent buildings when they were built 100 years ago, 150 years ago. The Victorians were the last great developers,
Yeah.
the last great builders. And so we need to do that justice. And so we have to set our stall out to say, when we repurpose it, we are going to win these level of awards. Otherwise, we haven't been fair to the original developer. If I took a look at something that is just beautiful, the pump house in Barry lit up in the night. I have to say I can drive past that, and that is a fantastic building to look at. But then you look at something like the tram shed in Cardiff, which is monolithic really in its construction, very straightforward, and we've converted a building there that was built to house Cardiff's trams originally. Then it became an MOT centre for the Cardiff Council, and what's been created there is part of a social hub of Grangetown now.
Yes, it is.
So that is a really proud one for us to have there. But all of them, we're lucky we can go past, and we are generally very proud of all the buildings because they've made a great difference to the community for different reasons. Everything that we want to put in place is a starter position. So, for example, if you want to bring your restaurant to one of our places, it's affordable. We support you with the social media and marketing. We also then do everything around you. So basically, you're just a chef that comes in and does what you're very good at, being a chef. You might not necessarily be very good at security. You might not necessarily be very good at organising the cleaning. So we do all that.
Yes.
So what we're looking for really with all our businesses, offices and everything else, is to think of us as a giant independent incubator. So you come to us and it gives you an opportunity to try it out, see if it works. If it does, and you expand and you move on to greater and bigger things, it's worked.
That's amazing. You create jobs and sustainable new spaces. You're a national treasure. There should be a celebratory day named after you in Wales, I think. How important was it for the Good Sheds to feel like a community space and not just a development?
Hugely important. So when we finished the pump house opposite, a lot of people probably remember Barry now, as they see it as it is, but they probably don't remember that it was like a wasteland really between the railway line and the beach.
Okay.
And we saw the opportunity there. It was always going to be housing because it's a great site, brownfield site, really good site for that. So we took it to the Good Sheds and we convinced the council that people do want a high street. They do want a place where they can go on the weekends, meet their friends, do some shopping, but it's an urban high street, so it has to have the jungle gym, it has to have the great food, it has to have the ability for a tech hub where you can work for a couple of hours, plus then some niche shopping. So everybody wants to still do a high street, they still want to be part of it, but for a different reason now, and it has to be experience, has to be destination, and it has to evolve. Our great high streets, which we're trying to revive, we need to revive them, I feel, in a different way, which reflects especially the younger generation and what they require. They don't necessarily want to go shopping anymore like maybe we used to on a Saturday and Sunday.
I know, yeah.
They look for an experience. They might want to go axe throwing. They want to taste a great cocktail.
Yeah.
But for different reasons, we need to create new high streets. So we took a look at the Good Sheds. We also wanted to do justice to Barry. Barry, not many people will know, was one of the busiest ports in the world.
Okay.
For a couple of years. Obviously, the 60s, 70s, decline of many port areas in Britain.
Right.
Barry had all these rail tracks coming in, bringing all the coal in for years after years. So we wanted to put these shipping containers, railway carriages, so we hark back to the heritage of Barry.
Yeah.
So people, and we've got signs up showing all about the history. So we wanted to make sure that the Good Sheds, well, whilst it's a modern development and a modern high street, it always remembers Barry's past, and the people in Barry, are very passionate about that, and it was an important thing for us to remember. For example, all the steam trains in Britain were decommissioned in Barry in the late 60s.
Okay.
There was 297 steam trains decommissioned in Barry. And then some of them are still working and going around the world. So in the Good Sheds, that's where they were all decommissioned. So in many respects, the Good Sheds has got quite a sad past because the great steam trains were, taken apart there. Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that moving forward, the building reflected everything that's come in its past.
That's nice. What kind of reaction have you had from the people of Barry since it opened?
Yeah, excellent. We're hopefully part of the community there now. It's affordable. It's open to everybody. We have so many community events going on there all the time, different markets, and where anybody can bring any idea to us, and we'll take a look at it and try to assist in any shape or form, because this is how communities re-establish themselves. They have to re-establish themselves on an affordable level. We can't build new communities where everybody's paying £80,000 a year rent each, and we have to start it where it's affordable for everybody to start, and we build so the foundations are there. Otherwise, what we're trying to do is put the kitchen in before we put the foundation in.
Of course. Yeah, and regeneration spending circulates back into the local economy. For instance, the construction and operation of developments often lead to jobs with local suppliers, contractors and services. Some evaluations show that for every £1 spent on construction, significantly more is reinvested locally.
Some have said that either it's sometimes £3 or £4 for every pound that's spent. So because everything that spreads out there. So regeneration is so important to us because we need to build quality pavement, quality parks, quality lighting. That reinvigorates the whole community to want to do better, and it's a self-fulfilling exercise then. So for us, we think the pump house and the Good Sheds has really helped Barry to re-establish itself and its identity. And Wales being Wales, every town has its own identity. Newport is only 30 miles from Cardiff, but Newport has its own identity, rightly so, and as Cardiff does. So it's important that we respect wherever we've gone. Swansea was the same. We respect their heritage and who they are and what they expect from us.
And you hold on to that and bring it back to life, which is fantastic. Welcome back to the show. Our guest tonight is Mr. Simon Baston, Director of Loftco and developer behind Good Sheds Barry, talking regeneration, redevelopment and the journey of turning an iconic site into a thriving destination. Let's talk about the challenges in hospitality.
I think we've all heard of the last couple of years that the issue with the rates that's coming in post-COVID, people coming back to our pubs, restaurants. So there is a serious challenge to keep our identity, which in Britain, the pub to a lot of people is its community, is a stronghold of where they are. And I think that we got to be really careful. If we don't nurture these places, we're going to regret what we're going to lose. Also, we have to move with the times, and the challenges to hospitality is now, where do we go from here? We can't just be probably a one-trick pony selling cask ale. That's not enough. We have to make a destination. We have to have some USPs behind it, and it needs to be an experience. In Cardiff, our own view, we're working in High Street. We're putting in 14 restaurants inside there, 700 covers.
Wow.
And they're every cuisine all over the world that you can ever imagine. And it's going to be, there for families to choose what they want. Food's coming at you left, right and centre.
Lovely.
The DJ's pumping away. It's going to be great fun. But also, street food, 12, 13, 14 pound. Not everybody can afford celebration restaurants.
No.
We have a lot coming to Cardiff, and we're lucky for that because obviously you see Cardiff as a great destination. But we need to build places, I think, in hospitality that's affordable on a regular basis. Community-led places where, for example, councils aren't going to build community centres. They're probably not going to build leisure centres again. They're not going to afford it. So if us as the private developer in these great buildings can create community spaces where people can have their pottery classes, they can have their dance classes, and the kids can come in and put paint classes alongside a place that's affordable to eat. It's very safe, it's warm, and I think they could become the new community centres.
Yeah, absolutely. It has definitely played a significant role, the ongoing regeneration of Barry Waterfront and the surrounding Innovation Quarter, transforming what was largely an underused Dockland railway land into a vibrant destination. Good Sheds Barry's really changed the area since it opened, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the schemes that we think is helping most that we've done is Newport Market in the centre. It was a rundown market, but a stunning building.
Okay.
And the people in Newport have got a very strong identity to the market, and it's been so well received. We've put in 10 food in the centre there, and we'd like to think they're up with the best in Britain. If anyone's ever got a chance to go and test the food in Newport Market, it is fantastic.
I haven't been yet.
Some big names and great food there. But this is part of Newport's renaissance now, and we were with a meeting with the council last night, and Newport are really trying hard to regenerate their town centre, regenerate their high street. And these buildings, they've got a good anchor building with the market because it's so well known, it's easy to get to, and that building, I think, alone has created probably 250 jobs, 60 or 70 businesses,
Wow.
all in one hub, all working together. And so that's the beauty of these buildings as well. When you've got an eclectic mix of all different professions and businesses, they all work together. You know, if you're a graphic designer, you're probably going to get work off everybody's working inside there.
Of course.
An accountant, what a great job to have inside these buildings. You've got everybody to look after.
Yeah.
So they're sort of their own communities they're building all the time, and they've got their own ecosystems they're building. But you think about how sustainable it is as well, because it's all in one place, close to good transport. So I think these are, for younger people starting their businesses off, and the regeneration, I think we've got to look at this as well. There's no point in building something that's 30 miles outside the town that you can't get to. It's too expensive. So I think for the young entrepreneurs and younger business people, we have to give them critical mass on an eclectic type basis.
And the congestion's a nightmare, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Do you see this as a model for other towns in Wales? I mean, Caerphilly is a good example. They've tried something like that, haven't they?
Yeah. I think all towns in Wales could start the regen. If I was to look at the smaller towns in Wales, I would look at more dormitory type towns, thinking of a great place to live as opposed to looking at previous industrial positions. Like, for example, in the valleys, I would start to look at great mountain biking, great walking.
Okay.
The ski zone is going to come to Merthyr.
Okay.
And it's an Olympic standard. I would look at building them as great places to live, and because, you know, Cardiff is where the mecca of sort of work is, as is London to the southeast of England. And I would look at all these valleys towns and look at the great buildings they got there, and get people living back in them, as we spoke before, and getting living right in the town centre of them. And I think they would really get the community going again.
To an extent, it can be a model, but with some big caveats. What Good Sheds Barry gets right for me, you reuse old industrial sites instead of building soulless new stuff. You create a social hub, food, drink events, like we said. It attracts people back into the town centre. It supports small Welsh traders rather than the big chains that we spoke about. It changes the image of Barry from a declining seaside town to places you actually want to go. But there are a lot of Welsh towns like Merthyr, Rhondda, Port Talbot, Llanelli, Rilneath. They all have empty buildings, weak town centres that could benefit from this kind of approach. But there is a catch, of course. Barry has Cardiff right next door. Not every town has the same tourism or population base. A food hall alone doesn't fix deeper issues. So like you said, those bike parks, you know. But
Well, we can look at the natural topography of Wales. It's fantastic. We've got our beaches, our mountains. Use what we've got.
Yes.
You know, why not put a huge mountain bike link? For Rhondda and Taff is a vast place. You could start always from Taffswell and put a mountain bike park all the way up to the Brecons and trails, and then that would spawn little boutique B&Bs. Nice restaurants are on the way. Suddenly we get known throughout the world as a great mountain bike place to live.
Yes.
And we've got great mountain bike parks here. Avon Argoed, Merthyr, fantastic places. So that is a cheap way for us to use what we've got and regenerate all these areas along the way. But I think more importantly is getting people living back in these town centres, especially in the valley type communities, because the high street and the town centre is struggling.
I know.
And it's very difficult to think what's going to take its place there. And for myself, I think it's experience, good restaurant, good bars, but people living there is the key.
Oh, that's
Don't
the
let
key,
these
isn't it?
buildings go redundant. That's what's going to be our problem, I think, in the next 20, 30 years, is redundant buildings, because it's going to become so expensive to refurbish them and maintain them. If we let them go too long
Yes,
and they
of
go
course.
too far, they're going to fall past the point of economic reuse.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Sad.
where focus should be on local authorities.
No, I agree, 100%.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Mr. Simon Baston. Thank you so much again for coming in. Really enjoying the show. Let's talk traders. What traders do you have at Good Sheds?
We have Bab House, and a lot of people probably know Bab House. The lady who runs that, she's a phenomenon. She could turn on to everything.
Wow.
And she could literally cook anything. We've got sushi there, we've got Greek, we've got Italian, Indian. So, but changes every sort of 2 years, year and a half. Someone moves on, they try something different. So we're open to any form of cuisine that comes inside there. We've got Mr. Crockwich there, which is the fried chicken specialist, and they are very consistent and very good. And we've been lucky that we, have a great working relationship. Going into High Street in Cardiff, we are doubling down on some great. We've got Rock and Scallop.
Okay.
They're huge place, and we've got Low and Slow coming in from Bristol. They're the 24-hour brisket team.
Oh, yeah.
And they are fantastic. And so we've got our original sort of setup, but we've got a lot of new faces coming inside there, and 2 desserts as well. So it's important we have a great mixture, something for everyone.
Something for everyone.
And we're happy when a restaurant moves on, or we're happy when they don't feel it's right for them, or they want larger premises. And we've served our purpose then. Everyone's had a go.
You've helped
and,
them.
and the natural equilibrium comes into force.
And you were talking about Bab House. Didn't you say the lady was on the TV? You've got a celebrity
Laylee,
there.
yeah, she's Matt Tebbett she works with, and she's Saturday morning kitchen and
Every week. Wow.
I don't know how often she's on, sorry, but I know she's wanted.
Appeared on there.
Yeah, she's wanted, and she's coming to Cardiff with us now, and she'll be a leading force for us in there. And we're very proud to have a long-standing relationship with her. Her 2 sisters work with her, and her father oversees a lot of the operations. And again, it's a family company.
I love a family business.
and they're building up. It's a grassroots family company that's building up from the beginning, and a very strong company, strong company for Wales. And in Wales, we have to be realistic. The huge industry's not coming here again. Big chains aren't coming here again. But what we can do is become cities and towns of independence.
Yes.
And we can celebrate that, and we can move quite quickly if we embrace it.
And thrive.
Yep. You look at Cardiff, they've got 30-odd events in the castle and in Blackweir this year. And over the last 5 years, it's really reinvented itself as a city of music. So Barry, if you take a look where we did the Good Sheds, people have realised, Barry maybe a certain reputation 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I'm from this, so, I would always support it. But now people take a look at Barry and they see the beaches and the parks. And it's reinvented itself as a great family place to go and live. Newport will have to reinvent itself as a brilliant place to live between Cardiff and Bristol. It's affordable, but a great spot. It's the closest we've got to Bristol, Birmingham, London.
Of course it is.
Newport's going to reinvent itself, not as a great city centre, not just that, but also as a great commerce.
Convenience.
Yeah, convenience place to work and live. So all these cities that we've got, Swansea West, where we just finished the Albert Hall, is another great example. It's got a 5-mile bay in the centre of the town. Cities worldwide would cry out for that.
Yeah, of course they would.
So we just got to use that resources there. So all the resources we've got in Wales are here to be a fantastic country. But I think we've now got to go to, as I say, cities of independence and not rely on what was here. We've got to look where we're going to go.
Lovely. And you were talking about music earlier. You mentioned a 10-year-old DJ, and he's taking the world by storm, even in Ibiza.
Leo, he's with us in Swansea. Not so often now because we can't get him to book him in, and he's in demand everywhere. And we have lots of different DJs and lots of musicians on their own or with bands, or they come to us and they say, can we play for a couple of hours? And we're happy to accommodate wherever we can.
Oh, so you do original material as well?
We're happy for anybody to say, try something out on a Thursday night, one of our places. Be delighted to help anybody out. Anybody listening today, just tell us what you'd like to do, and we'll see how we can fit that in.
Oh, fantastic. And I love the fact you have a 10-year-old doing the Ibiza club circuit. What's going on?
Well, I have a 10-year-old that's doing all our DJ work, and I have an 82-year-old who's my father, who looks after all our maintenance, so there's a good spread.
Oh, I love it. I love it. How can you not? What's your personal favourite thing on the menu or stall? Are you allowed to say that? They're all going to be listening tonight now.
Yeah, no, it's a few. The Rock and Scallop was just come into Swansea. He's taken seafood to a new level.
Really?
Yeah, he is an extremely talented man.
Okay.
Babos on the Mexican food that they've got is just consistently brilliant.
Oh, that's difficult, yeah.
Italian food, which is my favourite food.
Okay.
The Italian job. Some of their pastas are great, but I honestly can say that the Korean chicken with the 7 Lucky Gods, Mr. Crockwich is fantastic with the chickens, and excuse me if I've left anybody out because they are all very, very good.
They're all bloody great.
If you were to come to any one of Lothco's food halls, it'd be hard for you not to find someone you walk away from and say that was great tonight.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be difficult because they are all so passionate. Because
love that.
These are all independent people starting their own business off. They're not just working inside a chain restaurant. To them, their business is everything.
Wow, yeah.
It's the be all and end all.
Of course.
Their kids come in with them on Saturday morning to help them prep. Their dads are dropping off all the food or whatever. The mum's doing the accountancy.
Wow.
It's a great cottage industry they've all got. They're all very close. They're super supportive. And, please come and join us and tell us how you get on.
Yeah, I'm loving that. What's the hardest part of running a business like that? Longevity of traders, maybe? Not.
So we have to accept again that, where we used to have leases of 5, 10, 15 years, 5 is the max, really, that people are looking at. And we, sort of 3 or 4 years, people are generally coming to an end of, not the shelf life of their business, but perhaps their idea, and they're either going to do something else or move on. So we have to be super adaptive. So I think that anybody that's got a decent size independent business, you should wake up in the morning and start again. Every day start again. I think that way because things are moving so fast.
I know.
Trends are moving so quickly. What people want or aspire to it is very quick. And the trends are hard to keep up with. Also, when we used to take a look at restaurants and bars, every 10 years there'd be a refit or you have to try something different. Now it's every 2 or 3 years. So it's very expensive to keep up with trends. So we've got to create a model that's quite easy for people to flip in and flip out of because you just could not spend the money that's necessary to keep up with the trends either. So that's a challenge. It's a challenge just to make sure that the public are aware that there is different. You don't have to go to a big chain.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to a shopping centre. You can come to these great independents and all cities, not just us, obviously Cardiff, Newport, Swansea, Barry, there's great independents out there and just find them.
There are there.
And I think once you've found a great independent to buy your clothes from, buy your records, eat their beer from, surely that you strike a resonance with them, don't you, when you've 100%. Done it much more.
Yeah. How's the parking with you?
So we park it in Barry. There's a big car park opposite us. City centre, High Street, it is Cardiff, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We can't create another car park.
No.
But trains are getting better in Wales. If you take a look at a lot of the Valleys lines, they all come straight through now to Cardiff Bay. I think Pontypridd's going to have a line that's 17 minutes into Cardiff soon.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's 50% of all of Wales can be in Cardiff soon in an hour.
Wow. Yeah.
By the train. Because the concentration of Wales is in the southeast. Everything really is. So trains are good to get about now, and we have to be honest about the parking and the car. Are we going to build any more roads? Are we going to build any more car parks, big car parks? And a big car park still only has 200 cars in it, 250 cars. You've got a vent on in the Millennium, you've got 70,000 people coming in. It's only trains.
Yes,
trains is the only thing that can to get people around quickly. And Transport for Wales, and you'll see in Cardiff over the next couple of years, I think I've really recognised that, and that the high-speed electric trains is coming in, connecting communities. That's the key for us.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Welcome back to the show. Time flies when you're having fun. We've got about 6 minutes left. In your opinion, what's the future of hospitality?
I think we've got to look at independent, eclectic mix of many different types of businesses that offer something for everyone. Somebody's got to come into these places, and when they bring their family, they've got to go, wow, it's got this, that, and it suits everybody from the 1-year-old to the grandparent. The dogs are welcome, and I think that it's a community-led spirit then, and I think hospitality. It's a lot like 100 years ago we had the great community halls and the chapels in Wales. Well, we are now presenting with a new community hall and a new way of life, and I think this is the hospitality has to give the community its say, and it has to be led by the community.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come in. We're going to leave you with a track from 4 Act Riot. Simon, it's been an honour to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.